Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Far Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here with us today is our co-host, Justin. We're back at another episode here on the Far Sports Pod, which is season 8, episode number 6 on Recap Tuesday. Sorry for you all that we could not get to the show yesterday. Had a lot of things going on, but we're here today, and nonetheless, we got another show for you guys, and we're going to be going over some NBA segments. First up, obviously the playoffs is over. OKC is the finals winner, and we'll be going over the grades for the playoffs, each team, what's happened in that final game 7. Then we'll be going over the top 8 prospects coming into this NBA draft that me and Justin like, and where they will be headed. And then you have Kevin Durant heading to the Houston Rockets. Does that make them a championship caliber team or no? And then Jrue Holiday late last night was traded to the Trailblazers for Simons. How does that help the Celtics in the future? So let's get right into it, Justin. Obviously, you have some big ties to the Pacers as being a Knicks fan. Obviously, they were able to knock you guys out in the conference finals. Now, were you at all any surprised on the outcome in Game 7? Obviously, we know that Tyrese Halliburton has a torn Achilles, and he left in the first quarter of that game. But it wasn't like it was a blowout in the first half. They went into half down by 1 OKC, and then came in the second half, and they came storming back. Did you think that that was just what the format was about to happen, or did you think it was going to be a little bit closer than it ended up being?
I thought it was going to be a little bit closer just because of the fact that the Pacers are such a deep team. I was saying to you over the phone when we were watching it, I just can't really count this Pacer team out. I've seen them come back from being down 30. I don't even every single round. It seems like they've had some crazy, miraculous comeback. But I guess maybe with no Tyrese in there, it kind of really hurt them. I thought the Pacers maybe could have had this game. It was scaring me how Tyrese was coming out. I think he was like 3 for 4.
He was 3 for 4
3, and he couldn't miss, man. I was like, the Halliburton is back, but seeing that guy go down, I hate to see it, man. Because with injuries like that, that guy may never be the same again. We saw what happened to Kobe. I mean, the only guy that came back and was still decent was Kevin Durant. And I know there's been like upgrades in medicine since then, but he's going to be out a year, and then it's going to take him at least a year to really get back, another year kind of to really get back to being himself. Like it took KD really like 2 years to really be KD again.
But the difference between KD and Tyrese Halliburton is KD's 7 feet. So even him not being up to par, he could still give you 20 a game and not even break a sweat. Tyrese is 6'5", 6'4". He's got to do a little bit everything on the floor to get where he's going. And that's his game. His feet are a part of his game. He moves great. He plays defense. He runs. He passes. He jumps. He does a lot of stuff with his legs. Kevin Durant's a little bit different. I mean, you just give it to him in the post. He can kind of just turn around and shoot over anybody at his height. So, but I definitely agree. I kind of figured, obviously, I figured a little bit different. Once Tyrese went out, I figured that this game was over. Did not expect the Pacers to be up by 1 at halftime. But what happened in the second half was exactly what I thought. They got outscored 34-20 in the third, and that was pretty much the difference of the game. They ended up winning by only 12, but the game was much worse than what the score looked like. I mean, obviously, at the end of the game, you're not going to have stars get hurt, so game's already in hand. But Game 7 goes to OKC. It's been a while. It's the first championship in OKC. It's been a real long.
Never.
No, it has been.
I know they won in Seattle. But as OKC, they never won.
OKC, they never won, but they did win in Seattle. So I'd say that for OKC purposes, no, as the Oklahoma City Thunder, but in the history and the franchise itself as a whole, I would say that they've won 2, and it's been a long time coming. And they deserved it. They were the best team in the NBA this year. But my thing is I think they were fortunate. They weren't able to run into a Clippers team who I think would have gave them a big run for their money in that series. I think Denver did great. They pushed them to a Game 7, but it just didn't feel like it was a Game 7 series. It felt like the Thunder gave them a couple games in that series, especially when Aaron Gordon
hit that shot.
made that shot, and if Chet just makes 2 free throws, the game's over. And then you have the one where they were up pretty big, and then they lost in overtime in Denver when they decided to not move the ball at all and keep it in 3 guys' hands on 9 straight possessions and wait to 6 seconds on the shot clock to make a move. I definitely think that they gave them a couple games. I think the Clippers would have gave them a little bit more run for their money, but we all know Game 7, James Harden don't show up for some reason. So I think that was one of the things. The Thunder, again, I think Ja Morant would have gave them some run. I mean,
they would. People would talk about that. Not to interject or cut you off.
Yeah,
but I have to interject and cut you off there because they was getting their ass handed to them when Ja was there.
But Game 3, they were up massive with Ja back in Memphis.
True.
Game 4, they lost by 2 points in Memphis. I'm just saying.
True.
You put Ja in that situation. Maybe, hey, the first 2 games, yeah, but the first 2 games, again, was in OKC, and it was the first round of the playoffs. The Thunder had a long layoff, so they were rested and ready to rumble. Grizzlies came off a play-in tournament game, so they were a little gassed. But you saw Game 3 up by 30, but without Ja to control the reins, they got a little out of sorts. They let the Thunder come back, and they were able to get the job done. And then in Game 4, without Ja, they put their fight out in Memphis, and they lost by 2, and they had that game as well. So I'm just letting you know, if Ja doesn't get hurt, it's more of like a very similar Tyrese in Game 7. What if? Did I think that they were going to win the series? But I definitely do think that the Grizzlies would have at least won 2 games and made it a somewhat of a series. I think the OKC would have won in 6. But I had the Clippers going into town against the Thunder and winning in 7 games or 6 games because I thought the Clippers were that good of a team. But obviously we have to avoid Game 7 when you have James Harden on your team because for some reason he does not come to play. And then for the Lakers Timberwolves, I think that the Lakers just didn't have the bigs. They didn't have the continuity. They didn't have the team to get them to where they were. But again, we saw them play at full strength against OKC. Full strength. Everyone was fully healthy. Everyone was playing full strength against OKC in the regular season. And we blew the doors off of them. So I would have liked to see maybe a matchup, but see how well we would play in a 7-game series. But again, we would see. The Warriors. They got screwed when Steph Curry got injured. And
I mean, true, but do they really get out of the first round if Jalen Green is competent?
That's another discussion. We were going to discuss that when we go over the Houston trade. I don't think Jalen Green gets traded if he doesn't play like shit against the Warriors. And I don't think they lose if Jalen Green doesn't play that bad. But I just figured that the Warriors would win. Steph Curry, Draymond, the experience over the young guys. I had them winning in 7 games, and they did win in 7. And then I had them against the Timberwolves. I had the Timberwolves winning in 6, not in 5. I thought it would have been a closer series if Steph Curry was involved, and they could have had a shot to win. I thought the Timberwolves was going to play better against OKC, but again, I don't give excuses. But Anthony Edwards was dealing with a lot of ankle injuries the last 2 playoff series in Golden State and Thunder. He just didn't look like himself. It didn't look like the Anthony Edwards from last year's playoffs. Looked a little bit.
You're saying a lot of jumpers, man.
Yeah, I think he's got to go back to being poised, being balanced. There's no balance in his game this year. It was a lot of threes taken. You rarely saw him get to the basket and yam on some people. That's what we want to see. We want to see consistency. And yes, he put up the most shots in three-pointer, and he was great. But in the playoffs, the first thing that goes is what, Justin, when you're tired?
Your legs.
Your legs. That's like, and if you're dealing with some ankle injuries, what do you think is going to happen? You're not
lose your bounce.
Exactly. You're not going to be consistent. So that's where I think what happened with the Timberwolves. And then, not to mention Julius Randle was really inconsistent. But you know that. That's what he was all in New York. That's all he was.
I'm not going to lie, though. In that Warriors series, he was going a little crazy. I was like, okay, maybe Julius. But then part of me was just like, maybe it's because he's just bigger than
he's monster.
Draymond.
He's a massive dude. He's bigger than everybody. He's easy. That to me, I have to just cut you off there, Justin. My bad. But like, Julius Randle was just too big. He was much bigger than everybody on the Golden State. It was too easy for him. Then he went in when he went up against some boys that can move, that are big, that are strong. He did nothing. He had 2 good games and 3 horrible games. I mean, the last game was atrocious. It was horrible. The 2 games before that was terrible. And so, like, I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. He does this all the time. He decides to play. He decides very similar to James Harden, but James Harden has a problem with one game, and that's Game 7 or a closeout game, a massive game at the end. He has a problem with every other game. He's good, but fucking when it comes to Game 7 or a closeout game to win the series, he does not show up. I don't know how. And again, what were your first thought? What were your honest thoughts about these playoffs? Obviously, we got to go over the East right now, but in general,
in general, it was some of the most. I think last year and this year have been 2 of the most entertaining playoffs in a long time.
I agree.
Like, it just feels like it's so open. Like, even though I think the best era of basketball probably is the 2010s, I would say that even in the 2010s, we already knew LeBron was going. We knew Bron was coming out east, and we knew either San Antonio or Golden State was coming out of the West. There was no in between. Dark horse would be Houston and OKC when they had KD.
Yep.
Then it became Utah. We know Utah, they're gonna get to the second round, but they're gonna lose. Because the Donovan Mitchell, for whatever reason, can't make it out of the second round. No one talks about that, how he just doesn't get out of the second round.
Then came Denver. Then came the Clippers.
Denver was fun. Like, Jamal Murray in the playoffs always has like a game where he goes crazy. He didn't really have that this year, but
no, he was very inconsistent this year, and I think that was the downfall of Denver. I also think that they weren't as deep as they were when they made their championship run. I just also think Nikola was just beat up, dude. He just looked out.
He was putting up crazy numbers, though.
Yeah, but he just looked beat the hell up in that Thunder series. There was like he was trying so hard, and it was not. It just wasn't giving them wins. And the ones that he needed in Game 7.
I thought Nurkic in the Clippers series did a good. Not Nurkic. What's his name?
Batum, not Batum. What's his name? Zubac.
I thought Zubac did a good job on Jokic that whole series.
Oh, he did fantastic.
He guarded Jokic the best.
I think the Clippers. That's why I said I think the Clippers would have gave the Thunder a big run for their money. I think it would have still went. I had the Thunder in 6. To be honest, I had the Thunder winning in 6 games against OKC. That's how I had it.
You had the Thunder winning in 6 games against OKC?
Because their defense.
No, I'm saying you had the Thunder winning in 6 over.
No. I meant, I'm sorry. I had the Clippers beating OKC in 6 games just because of their defense. And I think
weren't they like one of the best, I think, if not the best defensive rating in the league? Don't quote me on that. I think it's like a toss-up between them and Minnesota, though.
Yeah, they were one of the best in the game going into the playoffs, and they showed it. I think they would have gave OKC a run for their money. I come to be honest, I had a matchup between the Clippers and the Lakers to go to the finals. Obviously, you know me, I'm not going to go shy away from picking my Lakers no matter what, realistically or not. I really thought that, but I didn't think that JJ Redick would play no center. And once I felt that was.
I'm not going to lie, man. The center that you do have, what's his name? I forget. Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes is not. He was not good, man. I'm sorry. He couldn't get a board to save his life. I think there was a game Rudy had, like, what was it, 30 and 20 or something?
Yeah, but they didn't play him at all. I'm sorry. He might not be the best offensive guy, but dude, you need size there, bro. I'm sorry.
He's just a lob threat, man.
Yeah, but you need size on defense. That was our problem, not fucking offense. It was a defense. We could not freaking stop Rudy Gobert. He looked like freaking prime Hakeem Olajuwon out there, man.
He was getting put back layups, all types.
Oh, it was terrible, man. He was looking like fucking prime Hakeem. He did a Euro step on us for a layup. Like, bro, when he's pulling that out, we got a problem, man.
You knew he was going to lose when he did the Euro step.
Yo, what is with you guys? You guys join the live and then you guys bounce out the live. You guys are not going to fucking stay in the live and don't join the damn live. You guys are pissing me off. Rodgers confirmed today. His final year in the NFL will be this year, and he's gone.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
he's gonna get that drug patient up out of the league. Yes.
Aaron Rodgers. I'm playing his last season in the NFL. He says I'm pretty sure this is it. So it's championship or bust for him.
He's not winning a championship,
Oh
man.
hell no, the Steelers are not winning. Nope.
He'll make the playoffs.
Yeah,
They'll
no,
have
they
a
make the
Jrue.
playoffs. They'll get maybe to the second round, but they're not winning nothing.
Imagine they do though. That'll be crazy.
Yeah,
I doubt it.
yeah. Look at Umo in the back, buddy.
But yeah, I thought this playoffs was pretty great though.
Justin.
I thought it was great basketball, very entertaining. I
Hey,
thought that
Justin.
the big markets like New York made it to the conference final. I mean, that was huge. I liked what I thought the best series, not to be biased or anything, the two best series was in the East. Well, really most of the best playoff series were in the East. You had the Pacers Cleveland series, that was a great series. And then you had Detroit New York, that was a great series. And then you had Knicks Celtics, that was a great series. It was like the East was way more closer than the West was. The West had a lot of blowouts.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with that. It just looked so much better. The Celtics Knicks was great. Even the Pacers Bucks was a great series. Even though it was 4-1. Celtics Magic had some good moments. But yeah, you're definitely right. I'd probably say the East was a little bit better when it comes to closer games, closer series. You had 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, 4-0. You had 3 series to go to Game 7, though, which was pretty cool in the West. You had the first round Denver Clippers, second round Thunder Nuggets, and Rockets Warriors first round. And then you had the finals Game 7. So we had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. We had a total of 4 Game 7s in these playoffs. So for the last thing I would say, I think I give a letter grade of an A minus for the playoffs. Last year I gave it an A plus. What's your letter grade for this year's playoffs?
I would probably give it a A.
An A? All right.
I'll give it an A only because it had a lot of great memories, but some last year just really hit. It really hit for me.
Yeah, last year was fantastic. If you guys are new in the live, don't forget to drop a follow, was a like and a share. All right, so next now we're going to be going to our second segment on today's show, and that will be going over obviously we know Jay Billis has his great prospects in this draft. We're going to go to our own prospects. Just going to get the list here. But there's some big wild card guys here. Definitely think that Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey's, 2 of these guys are fantastic. You got Carter Bryant out of Arizona, Rasheer Flanging from St. Joseph's, and Cedric Coward of Washington State. Those are some 3-and-D guys. Top shooters, Trey Johnson from Texas, Con Canepo from Duke. And then obviously you got the no-brainer of Cooper Flagg.
Yeah, Cooper Flagg should be first on everyone's list, to be honest.
It's not even close. I think
he's going to be a superstar.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And anyone thinks otherwise, you're stupid.
Or you're a hater.
Yeah, probably. Most of the time, those people who just don't think so are just haters. But I definitely think that Cooper Flagg is definitely going to be the one to go number 1. And he's going to the Dallas Mavericks, and I think that helps them out tremendously. Getting youth there, with Kyrie Irving not being in the fold for a while because of the injury last year. But pair him with Anthony Davis, it's going to be pretty special. Now, where do you think Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper are going? Did you hear about the story about Ace Bailey not accepting to do any workouts for any?
Yeah, I think he's going to fall off hard. And guys like Con Canepo, whatever I forget his name. I keep seeing. How do you pronounce his name? I don't want to. Huh?
Canepo.
Canepo's gonna. It seems like he's rising up the draft board, and Ace Bailey is falling down all the mock drafts.
I'll take Con all day. I just like his poise, the way he plays. He played in Duke. I think Ace Bailey is just. I don't even think it's
And I
him.
heard they lied about Ace Bailey's height. Like he wasn't as tall as advertised.
Oh, we got somebody in the chat, Justin.
What is
Um, Symbiote Figs. Who will the Raptors draft? Who would the
it?
Toronto Raptors draft? I gotta just go over where they are at. Raptors
They're at, I think they're at
draft pick.
they got to be 7 or 8, right?
I'm
I'm
looking at
gonna
it
look it
right
up. I
now.
think they're 7 or 8. Yeah, I just looked it up.
They are.
They're 9. So I was wrong.
So
I
they're
thought
9. They have number 9 in the draft. They're a very young team. I think that they're going to be much better than they were last year, or this past year, I should say. Coming into this year, in the NBA season, I realistically think that well, we have 8 guys that we just named here on the Jay Billis with Trey Johnson, Con Canepo, but anybody could get by there. Um,
I
I mean,
mean,
I don't know. What do you think?
what about Jeremiah Fears?
Jeremiah Fears could be something. I
They
mean,
need a guard, and I heard they're trying to move off of Quickly anyway. And
if they
Quickly trying to
are
run a
moving
max
out of
deal.
quickly, if they are
I think
moving off of quickly, I think Jeremiah Fears would be a fantastic
you have a replacement.
fit in
He's
Toronto.
not the best 3-point shooter though, but he could
But
do pretty much
he's
everything else.
so good. He's so great. I like him. I like that kid a lot, dude. I think he's going to be a really good player. Maybe Ace Bailey falls to the 9th spot. I mean, I don't know. They were projecting him top 4, top 5. So maybe he falls to the 9th spot for Toronto. I mean, Toronto definitely can use still more size. Ace Bailey's a great player. He can really do everything. He could shoot the ball. He could drive the basket. He's a great rim runner. So I definitely think that you can really plug him into anything. I think Jeremiah Fears is going to be a great spot if Toronto's able to get him. So Symbiote, I would probably agree, and we probably both say that Jeremiah Fears, or Ace Bailey. I think those two are definitely something to look out for. He said I would like to see Ace Bailey as a Raptor. So maybe he falls that far.
But I mean, then what are you doing with RJ?
Well, I think
Well, I
Ace
heard they're
Bailey's
trying to
taller,
trade
though.
RJ.
Well, if they're trying to trade RJ, then Ace Bailey is probably a great fit then. But I think Ace Bailey with really any team could be a great fit because he can stretch the floor. He's not a guy that just sits there. And is just can't do nothing with the basketball. So I think that will definitely help Toronto. I think Toronto's poised for some great years ahead of them, based on the fact that they have youth, they have size, and I just think they have a great shot making ability. They just have to have consistency. I think that's the biggest thing for this year. This past year, they had no consistency, and there were a lot of guys were hurt a lot of the time. That was the norm with a lot of teams that were struggling last year, like the Pelicans. They were hurt like crazy almost the entire year. We know the whole thing with Zion and everything now.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
But a player that really intrigues me the most, and I know he's probably gonna go second round, but Kobe Bryant, that's a guy that I've really been paying attention
I like
to
Kobe
at least for the Knicks, because we need a guy that's a little bit lengthy and that can shoot, and he can do all those things. And no one's really talking about it, but I think he's one of the best shooters in the draft class. I think he'll translate over to the NBA pretty nicely.
Alrighty. Symbiote, if you need any more news and stuff like that, you should drop a follow. We are on the clock when it comes to the NBA, NFL, NHL, and MLB. So definitely drop that follow. Would be greatly appreciated. Symbiote just follow. Appreciate that, my brother. Appreciate that. So yeah, I think the draft is going to be great. I think it's going to be filled with a lot of emotions. I think obviously the no-brainer of Cooper Flag. I think he's going to do some wonders. Ace Bailey hopefully doesn't drop too far out of the top 10. I think hopefully he stays in the top 10 because he's a great talent. I don't understand who the hell is telling him to skip workouts. That I think is dumb.
Doesn't he have his own like Asian or something? But it's from his hometown.
Yeah, something around those lines. Well, even Paul George put into question, why are you doing this? You're not in the NBA. You shouldn't be trying to call these shots. I would agree with Paul George. I think it's not the right move. I think you need to show these scouts, these owners, these other players that you might be playing with that you're actually a team guy and you actually want to get better. You not wanting to like work out and whatever and doing your own thing. It's very different from the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. The NFL, you guys, you don't want to do the combine, you want to do your pro day. That's different. You have all the film on tape. Basketball is a little bit different. When they do their stuff, it's a little bit different. You want to do workouts. You want to see because you want to see consistency when it comes to your shot making ability. Are you as tall as they say you are? I think the NFL is a little bit different than the NBA. I think the NBA should be more required, and you should want to do it. NFL could be up to your choice because you just want to like stay healthy and do certain things the right way.
Because football is a more physically demanding sport than
Exactly.
basketball is.
Arjun, appreciate the share of the live. So yeah, I don't know if that's pretty much it for what I got. Anything else you want to add to this?
No. I'm hoping to see some trades go down during the draft. I'm hoping this. I want to see what the Spurs do. They got two. They got two picks. I think they got two in the lottery. Like they have the second pick, and I think they have the 15th pick or the 14th pick, something like that. I want to see if they package those up for a player come draft night. Maybe Giannis.
That'll be something.
I don't know. I just want to see what they do because I know they want to pair Wemby up with a star, and if they keep that number 2 pick, that means they take Dylan Harper, but or you just take best player available, which would be Dylan Harper. But it's like, why would you take a guard when you just drafted Castle last year and you have Fox? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
you gotta either trade down or trade that pick.
Arjun said, do you think that the Spurs going to draft Harper? We just answered that question. I would have to agree with Justin. I know it's supposed to be a debate, it's supposed to be a podcast, but when he's right, he's right. I just don't think it makes any sense for the Spurs to draft Harper unless they are trading somebody that we don't know off their team to bring in a young guy like Harper, or they're using it to get a guy like Giannis or a massive deal to move some guys around. Other than that, I think you would either have to trade down, like he said, or trade that pick because it just doesn't make sense, or pick somebody else. But it just doesn't make sense to pick Dylan.
With the number 2 pick, you got to take the best player available. You just can't take any random player. That's kind of like what the Giants did when they drafted Kadarius Toney when the Eagles jumped them for Smith.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
No,
if you don't see a player you like, you trade down.
Yeah,
you don't stay there.
Yeah, no, or you trade it for a package it for a massive guy like Giannis. Something like that.
The Bucks would definitely take that.
They would definitely take that. Want to get younger, especially with Damian Lillard going to be out with an Achilles. So,
yeah, he's going to be out the whole year. Tatum's going to be out the whole year. Like, what's going on with all the injuries?
I don't know, man. I've been asking that question for a long time. All right, so I think that's pretty much it on the draft. Obviously, we'll have more when I think draft is tomorrow, right?
Yep. Isn't it? Is it 2 days or just 1 day?
I believe it's 2 days. Symbio, appreciate the likes. Keep liking that up, my brother. But yeah, I think the draft's going to be great. It's going to change some kids' lives. It's going to change some teams' futures. I'm just hoping that something goes down, like some moves, because it's been pretty quiet here, other than the recent trades with Kevin Durant, Jrue Holiday, and such. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet in the sports world when it comes to free agency, both for all sports. So let's move on to the next segment we have, and that's an interesting topic here today, Justin, and that's going over the Kevin Durant debacle. He is now heading to the Houston Rockets on a move. What were your honest reactions first up when you saw this happen yesterday or 2 days ago? And did you think that this was the right move for the Suns and the right move for the Rockets, or do you think this is going to be a dumpster fire?
I felt like the Suns might have won the trade, and I know everyone's saying, "Oh, no." Well, the Rockets got the best player. I got to go to my notes because I had this as soon as it happened. I knew this was going to be something we talked about the pod, so I wrote down my thoughts. I felt like trading a generational scorer for like KD for Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. I felt like I don't know. They could have got more. And I feel like for the Rockets with Kevin Durant, he's older. He's 37. He won't be around a long time. You just gave up a young guy. Oh, sure. Jalen Green didn't play well in the playoffs. That happens. Kobe didn't play well in the playoffs either when he was a young player, and he was still able to develop and learn from it. I just don't like how the NBA gives up on guys so early. Same with like Josh Giddey. But when it comes to KD though, it's like he doesn't really play any defense. You lose one of your best defenders. I just don't know. I just don't really like the deal for like I like if I feel like if Houston had KD last year instead of Jalen Green, they would have for sure beat the Warriors in that series. But I don't think it's enough to win a championship. You're really betting on the twin what's his name? The twin and
Ben Thompson
yeah, Amen Thompson, and
and
you're
Jabari
really
Smith.
Asar?
No, Amen and
Amen Thompson, and you really bet on Amen Thompson and Sengun to really take that step forward, and
Jabari
Jabari
Smith.
Smith Jr. as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's enough. I don't think they're better than Minnesota. I don't think they're better than OKC. I don't think they're better than the Spurs. I think if they face the Spurs in the playoffs, it will go like 5 or 6 games. And if they do win, it'll be because KD has seniority over the rest of the guys and has done this before. It won't be because they're the better team. I just don't really think it was the best fit. I think a better fit for KD would have been San Antonio.
I would say San Antonio or OKC.
Well, yeah, but I mean, with OKC, what are you doing? You're taking. That means you're moving Chet to the 5.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Symbiote says, in my opinion, this Rockets team cannot win the finals at most second round.
I think so too, and it depends on who they facing in the first round. God forbid KD gets hurt like he did this year, and they end up being a playing team. They go in the play-in and they face a team like I don't know, like OKC or Minnesota in the first round. They may be out.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And then for the Suns,
yeah,
I just feel like it's too many guards and too many ball dominant players. Like you got like Jalen Green needs the ball to succeed. Bradley Beal, I don't know what the hell happened last year, but
yeah, I don't know.
when he's decent, he's a guy that needs the ball. And then of course, Devin Booker, he doesn't really need the ball. Like he's a guy that can play off, but I feel like with the way this team is set up, he kind of needs the ball in his hands. And they don't really have a true point guard. I say that because I think Tyus Jones is a free agent.
I believe he is.
So I don't know if they're going to bring him back. But
I think they should with the landscape that they have right now.
It just this move makes me worry. Like, are the Rockets really ready to contend right now? And what are the Suns even doing? Like you get the pick, right? You get their first round pick this year. That's cool. That's good and all. You got to really hit on that pick because you don't have any picks.
Yeah, because you just let 5 second-round picks go to Houston.
So now you have to – I would be looking to maybe take a forward that can learn under KD and take the reins on once he's gone because he only had like a year or two left. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I think Kevin Durant plays till he's 40.
Yeah, man, like how most NBA players do. Not LeBron might play to 45, man. He's a different breed.
Bro, did you see the workout he was with Brickley just yesterday or just this morning or yesterday?
I didn't see it. I haven't been.
Bro, he was. Oh my god, dude! This is 2 months prior to an MCL sprain. That's crazy. He's looking out with Kevin Love, and it's like he hasn't missed a beat. It's like,
yeah, man, that man might play damn near 50, bro.
Bro, it's not because of his body. I think his body, he could play till 50 years old, almost close to it. I think it's just mental mind over matter. That's what's the big thing. That's the thing with Kobe. But Kobe, the problem was that he got that Achilles injury at the wrong time, and he just screwed everything up. Because I think that if he didn't have that injury, I think he would have been able to play a lot longer than what he did. I just think his body I think his mind was still good for basketball, but I think his body was like, hey, you know what, bro? You're getting a little older now with all these injuries. I think we're gonna have to call it. But his mind never stopped. His mind still was with the game, and I think that if he didn't have that injury, I think he would have been able to play a little bit longer. Symbiote says, like, yes, the Rockets are a good team, no lie, but this team can't beat these Western Conferences team. I agree. I think Kevin Durant. Now, my take on this, I think Kevin Durant going to the Rockets was a right situation for him. Um, for the team, I don't think so. I think for the I think Kevin Durant loved it. I think he wants to be there. I think he's going to be the best player
Didn't he
there.
go to Texas or whatever?
Yes, he went to Texas. That's why. So I think he likes this. I think this is a great move for him personally, family-wise, this, that, and the other thing. But I do think in reality, I think that the Suns are idiots. I think the Suns are just doing, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I agree with you. I really don't know what they're doing. They have literally 4 guards that need the ball. You could say what you want about Devin Booker, but I mean, this guy damn near scored almost 75 points in a game against the Boston Celtics about 5 years ago. So I definitely think that there's ball dominant there. Bradley, as we know, is a ball dominant guy. Jalen Green, as we know, is a ball dominant guy. So you got 3 to 4 guards on the team, and you just lost your best player in Kevin Durant on the team. And he was hurt most of the year. So I think for the essence of Kevin Durant, this is a great move for him. For the essence of the Rockets, I think it's a bad move because of the fact of the matter is that you're losing youth. And the big thing about last year's team was your youth and how fast you guys can play at and how easy it was for you guys defensively. You lose your defensive guy in Dylan Brooks, and you bring in a guy who, like you said, doesn't play defense that much. He's 7 feet. He can play, but he's not a defensive guy. He's never been known for that. He's a scorer. He's one of the best, if not the best scorers in the game, in the history of the game. But he's 37. He's old. We're not going to get the Kevin Durant of OKC anytime.
No, we're not getting Golden. I think Golden State KD was the best KD, and I hated that KD.
No, that was the best KD, but I'm saying that we're not even going to be able to get even close to that. We're not even going to get even OKC Kevin Durant. I think we're going to still get a guy who could score 25 a game, but it's not going to be consistent. He's going to still get injured a little bit. He's going to banged up because he's getting older. And for me, I saw this on First Take. I think the guy that is poised for another championship run, you can't say anybody else other than the Lakers because now Luka's there. If we get the center, and this is not even biased, if you look at Golden State, the way they're structured, the way they're put together, they're not winning shit anytime soon. Not against these teams. They're too small.
The thing with the Warriors is they have one. What they should do is start Post. I know he's not the best defender, but he can stretch the floor. Quentin Post.
Yes. I don't know why they didn't go for him a lot earlier in that Timberwolves series. I think he would have added a lot more.
All I'm going to say is, I know this is not real life, but when I play 2K, when I use the Warriors, I run Warriors playbook. I put Post out there at the 5, and I do a bunch of off-ball screens for Curry. I do like double pick plays for Jimmy to get Jimmy driving. I have Draymond set a pick, and I have Curry set a pick on the double pick. And when Curry comes off the pick, he fades to the 3-point line, and Draymond cuts. So if I'm Jimmy, I can decide, okay, if they're going to collapse on me and Draymond's open, I'll give it to Draymond. But if not him, then I'll give it to Curry. And if they come to help on Curry, then we got Post in the corner. We got Pods in the corner that can shoot the 3. I feel like they can still be good just with good coaching.
Yeah,
so I would not count the Warriors out. They got the right roster. It's just they don't run the right lineups a lot of the time. And they need to play Kuminga more.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's what comes to my fruition, that if you look at Kevin Durant in his situation, I think that he's not making a finals run. He's not in the right team. I think if he would have went to the Spurs, or maybe would have went back to OKC with the youth that they have, bring him in. But they're so young. They have like thousands of picks left. for the coming years in OKC. So there was no reason to even bring him in. But if they wanted to, right? If he wanted to go there and they wanted to bring him in, it would be so easy because they'll give all these picks to them. So I definitely think that for me, I think LeBron has the best chance to get back to the finals and win something based on the fact that while
You're talking about in the West, right?
huh?
You're talking about in the West or in
Yeah,
general?
in the West, to come out the
Okay.
West. I think he has a good enough chance to get there. He's got the best chance, I think, because based on the way the team is constructed, obviously we're still missing a big, and we're missing a consistent big. But if we do get that big and we have that lineup in there, we have the right lineup in. I think they're out of the three juggernauts, the old heads that are still left, that are Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and LeBron. I think LeBron's got the best chance to go back to the finals. I think the Warriors.
Out of those three,
Yeah, I think the Warriors will
probably
probably
yeah,
have
because
the
they got
second.
Luca, but I still wouldn't count out Minnesota.
No,
I
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, as old heads, if you take the three juggernauts that we know, which is LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph, I think LeBron's got the best chance to get back to the finals. I think the Warriors have the second best chance, and I think Kevin Durant has the third best chance based on the fact that he's now here with this team in Houston. That's my opinion.
I gotta agree with that. I just really don't understand what Houston was doing, man. I really don't. It boggles my mind. Like I wouldn't even done a trade. I would have been like run it back and see what we could really. I would have waited till free agency to see what I could get.
No, I definitely I don't disagree with you. I think they did a bad move. Here I'm gonna be You might think I'm stupid, but I'm gonna disagree with this move. Based on the fact that yes, Anthony Simons is a great talent. He is becoming an up and coming monster. And he is stuck on the Trailblazers. He was stuck. I think he's a great talent and he's rotting away there. And I think the Celtics would be great with him. But I'm sorry. Yes, he's bigger, he's taller, he's probably plays a better defense than Pritchard, but Pritchard's was balling this year, man. And you brought in a guy that you're going to replace Holiday for and keep Pritchard as the backup. If you're saying, all right, bring Pritchard in, you take Simons off the bench, okay, that's something different. I think they're going to start Simons based on what he's been doing with Portland. Obviously, I think they hit a home run as youth-wise, but if they're looking to try to do something next year, I think you keep Holiday with the veteranship, with the leadership, with the defensive prowess. Yes, he's not the best scorer. Without Jason Tatum, though, you need defense and you need guys that know how to win. And I just think that you don't have a lot of those guys on that team other than Jaylen Brown. Obviously, you have the guys that won the championship and Pritchard and whatever, but they're still young. I think the guy that has the most experience in the playoffs is Jaylen Brown. And that's pretty much it. Tingus Pingus barely gets there and he's ass.
He's not. I just think he was injured.
No. I know that, but I'm just saying, whenever he's in the playoffs, his team doesn't win, and he hasn't been past the other than with Boston, he hasn't been past the second round with anybody. So, and that shit show in Dallas was terrible. New York didn't pan out. Him and now Boston looked promising until he had that sickness, which was stupid. I don't know. I've never seen a sickness like that. That was crazy. And that was
I
unfortunate.
think something was actually wrong with him, bro.
No, I think something was actually wrong because there's nothing that doesn't happen out of the bloom. So I think something was wrong, but I think he'll be fine. But again, like I said, you're losing your guy. Now you have no Jason Tatum. You're losing a leader in Jrue Holiday, and now everything falls on Jaylen Brown. And I just don't think he's going to have enough to carry the load. I think Boston's not going to make it out of the second round next year.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This wasn't for basketball reasons. This man, the Celtics are way over the second apron, man. And if they were to keep Jrue Holiday, I think they lose out on their next 5 years worth of first round picks or something like that. It was either him or Porzingis or Jaylen Brown, and I still think Porzingis will get traded. But with the move, they get a little bit more. I think they get under the second apron.
Respectfully, I would have let go Porzingis and kept Holiday.
But it's cap friendly, and then they get a guard that's younger, that can create for himself and can shoot. he's not really the best defender, but that's not really what you. If I'm Boston, I want to be able to outscore you once I do get healthy and I do have Tatum back and I do have Brown back because I have Porzingis. I'll be running. It's the same thing I was saying about the Warriors. You want at least everyone on the court to be able to smack or hit a three, so you can run off ball plays for guys to get open. And if somebody helps a little too much, you can kick out. Bang, that's a three. Bang, that's a three. Bang, that's a three. It just seems like that's how Missoula likes to run the team. They like the running gun. They live and they die by that three. And this move kind of fits that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to stick with my take, but your take is not wrong. My take's not wrong or right. I just think that I do agree. Probably the second apron had a lot of things to do with it, if not everything to do with it. I just think that you're pairing a guy in Anthony Simons who hasn't won a damn thing. He maybe hasn't won over 30 games in his career in Portland. It's been a while. Maybe with Dame there they did, but it's been a really long time. And he has no experience. I just think that if you're trying to do something at all, this might be a move just for the future, understanding that Jason Tatum, obviously Jaylen Brown, I think he had surgery as well. He's not going to be fully healthy. He might be fully healthy come season, but Jason Tatum, we all know, is going to be out and probably until the playoffs if they make it there. I mean, if things don't go their way, Justin, they might not even make the playoffs.
I'm going to be honest. If I'm Boston, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to keep my pick, and I'm trying to tank so I get a high pick.
I think I agree with that. I think I agree with.
The Boozer twins are coming.
I think I agree with that.
I'm looking at that. I'm trying to get a high pick, man. I'm not trying to win.
I think I agree with that. Now that I agree with the other part, I have to keep Jrue Holiday, but I really don't think
I would have if what I would have done, I would have. Soon as offseason hit, Jrue, you out of here. Porzingis, you out of here. We're going to listen to what we can hear for Jaylen Brown. And we're going to try to start the youth movement because I think in 2026, I got to look at his contract. And like the last year Tatum's deal, his cap hit is like $70 million, man.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm just like, we got to be preparing for that because we can't afford to keep Brown and Tatum. We're gonna have to let one go.
And you're gonna
I'm not saying let him go right now. I'm saying you need to be preparing to let him go, which means we need to be preparing to tank, maybe get some picks, get some first round picks. That's why I don't really like the trade for the Celtics, because they only get 2 second round picks. I mean, I know you can hit in the second round, but the likelihood is very low.
Now the last thing I'm gonna say, if they are to pick either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, is it not even a question they're trading Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, you're trading. My bad. You're trading Jaylen Brown for sure.
Okay, and why do you say that?
I think Tatum's a bigger cap hit. Let me look.
No, but just based on the player itself.
Based on the player, I mean that's tough. But I like to go based off money.
Okay.
Who's making more? Or who can I afford to lose?
Because I would probably say, if I'm being, obviously the bigger guy is Jason Tatum, but Jaylen Brown, you can't deny his defensive prowess. He's a defensive.
But Tatum can play defense as well.
Who?
Tatum can play defense as well.
But who's a better defender?
I would say Brown. Who's
the better offensive guy?
That's hard.
See, that's the question. It's like, okay, so Brown's the better defender.
Yeah. In 2029, he has a player option. If he accepts it, it's $71 million for Tatum at 31.
What about Brown?
Years old. Huh? Brown? I think his ends before. And another thing, Brown's older. He's 29. So his contract ends in 2028, and his will be $64 million.
So obviously you would probably have to, ship Brown off, keep Tatum.
Because Tatum's younger.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you make some great points here. I'm gonna still stick with the Jrue Holiday thing. I just think that I would have wanted them to keep him. If you're trying to do something now, if your thing has changed, like you said, if the trajectory has changed, then Whatever. Joey Pierce says Tatum is worth $71 million.
I'm not saying he's not.
Well, we're not saying he's not.
I'm just saying that I gotta decide whether I'm gonna stick with Brown or not. Because do I really want the? So by the time Tatum's 31, Brown will be 33, 34. Do I really want to have a 34-year-old dude on my team that's a max guy when I already have another max guy? And if I'm the Celtics, I want to already be in that phase where I'm like, okay, we're going to dump this salary because we're not contending right now. And we're trying to find a young guy to build around.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, the way you put it like that, then yeah.
I play a lot of my NBA and a lot of that, and do a lot of realistic rebuilds, and a lot of it has to. And what I've noticed is your best bet. What I like to do is when a guy reaches like 30, 33, 34, if we're not contending for a championship or if we're just mediocre, I'm trading them and I'm trying to get as much picks as I can. And find a young guy and strike lightning in a bottle and try to get somebody young. And if we suck, then we have a bigger opportunity to our picks will be higher anyway. And then the picks that we already have, we'll have a higher chance of hitting because we'll have more picks and we'll have a higher pick to take better talent. It's kind of like what OKC did.
Yeah, they did a great job of that. Well, again, like I said, you know your stuff. You're not wrong when it comes to that. It's going to be an interesting time this off season to see what happens with a lot of teams. Especially we all know OKC coming down the line is going to have the same problem Boston is having right now, where they're going to have to move off some guys that are big names. But the good thing about OKC is they got like thousands of picks still left coming their way in the coming years. So they'll be okay. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much it for the show here on the Fire Sports Pod. That is a wrap for Recap Tuesday here on Season 8, Episode number 6. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. Thanks again, Justin, for jumping on your birthday. Happy birthday, my brother. Turned 22 years old today. Appreciate it jumping on. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. And we'll see you guys all on Friday for Season 8, Episode number 7. We're hope to have Lorenzo back on the show on Friday. If not, it will be me and Justin yet again. So see you guys all on Friday. Stay tuned for some posts, some clips, and any free agents news for both the NFL, NBA, MLB, and NHL. Peace out, guys.
Not done.